2.5 weeks ago, back on February 12th, an adorable little 3-year-old boy named Elijah Vue set off on a 2.5-hour road trip with his mom in Wisconsin to stay with his mom's boyfriend for 11 days. But on the 8th day, a call was made to the authorities to report little Elijah missing, and an Amber Alert shortly followed. Since then, law enforcement, family, and even strangers have been on the hunt and mission to find little Elijah, but despite their best efforts, he is yet to be found. What happened from then until now? Where is he? We're going to go through it, and it's looking pretty sketchy. I'm Linda with It's a Crime, so now let's get into it. Little Elijah is 3 years old and is described by his aunt as joyful and curious. He has dark brown hair and brown eyes and stands 3 feet tall and weighs approximately 45 pounds. He has a birthmark on his left knee, and he was last seen wearing gray pants, a dark long sleeve shirt, and red and green dinosaur slip-on shoes. He may have been carrying a red and white plaid blanket. Now, right away, I'm just curious as to how big that blanket was that he was carrying with him. Was it a toddler blankie, or was it a bigger blankie? Now, according to the police, he was reportedly last seen on Tuesday, February 20th, 2024, in Two Rivers, Wisconsin, a city in Manitowoc County, and has a population of 11,271 people as of 2020. Two Rivers is nestled along the shores of Lake Michigan, and it presents a challenging terrain for search teams combing through wooded areas and parklands in hopes of locating the missing little boy. And the proximity to water sources has also intensified efforts to ensure his safety. Two Rivers claims it's a birthplace of the ice cream sundae and holds a special place in the hearts of its residents. The town's rich history and strong sense of community have fueled determination in the search for this missing little boy, with businesses and landmarks displaying banners and posters to raise awareness. Now, let's dive into the details. February 12th, 2024, Elijah's mom, Katrina Bohr, drives 2.5 hours from her home in Wisconsin Dells to leave little Elijah with her boyfriend Jesse Vang in Two Rivers. In the days that followed, Elijah is allegedly disciplined by Jesse Vang, which included ridiculously long timeouts, supposedly teaching him how to pray and threatening him with cold water if he misbehaves. Now, fast forward to February 19th, the night before Elijah's disappearance. Jesse admits to authorities that he drank 3 12-ounce Budweiser beers and took cyclobenzaprine as a sleep aid. And he said he'd locked the door when he was sleeping and locked the doorknob, deadbolt, and with a security chain attached at the top. Now, February 20th, the next morning, according to the boyfriend, at 7:30 a.m., Jesse said he helped his son, who is autistic, get onto the bus that morning. He walked his son to the bus and locked the apartment door, leaving Elijah sleeping on the futon sofa in the living room. When he returned, he said he woke Elijah up and gave him some cereal without milk. Frosted cereal on one side, the document says. Now, my guess, it sounds like it's mini wheats from the sound of it, and if that's the case, although it's been a long time since I've eaten it because I'm allergic to it, but it's not the easiest thing to eat without milk. Just my opinion. And he's 3. Now, by 8 a.m., a half hour later, according to the court document, Jesse said he brought Elijah into his bedroom, told Elijah he has to stand at the foot of Jesse's bed and pray while Jesse falls asleep. Again, this child is 3 years old. And at 10:59 a.m., 3 hours later, Jesse Vang called the Two Rivers Police Department and reports Elijah missing. He said he woke up at around 11, Elijah wasn't there, and then called 911 to report him missing. This is said to be the last known sighting of the toddler, and Jesse was the last person to see him. And a 3-hour nap, though, must have been quite the nap with a toddler running around or praying. Now, police respond at 3918 Mishicot Road, hopefully I said that right, apartment 102 in Two Rivers. Jesse tells the police that the little boy has been staying with him so he can correct his bad behaviors, and that he's been doing that for about a month, but, quote, not continuously. Now, police talked to Elijah's mom, Katrina, and she tells the authorities that her little boy was in Jesse's care for about a week, and she dropped him off on February 12th in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, and planned on having him back on February 23rd. She denied being in the Manitowoc County area on February 16th or the 17th. However, here's where the obstruction comes in. Law enforcement did a little searchy search on both Katrina and Jesse's cell phones, and based on that information and location data they extracted, Katrina's statement along with her cell phone location was contradictory. The information extracted were messages also at approximately 6:49 p.m. on February 17th, where Jesse tells Katrina that he's mad that Elijah overfilled his diaper and that Jesse gave Elijah a cold shower because of it. So you have an angry man at a small child who isn't potty trained, and he's 3, and he gets mad at the little toddler and puts him in a shower with cold water. You gotta wonder, what else is he doing? And how do you think that little Elijah is gonna react? He's literally being punished for something that is normal for this child to do at this age. And my question is, how long did he sit in that diaper? And Katrina tells the detective that Jesse is the enforcer of rules in their relationship, and that's why she sent her child to stay with him. She said that she talked with Jesse about the limits of what types of discipline that she didn't want used. But other than that, she said she was okay with whatever Jesse enforced. And she said she gave examples to him like praying or saying he was sorry and going over 4 rules that Elijah was supposed to be memorizing, although that wasn't mentioned in the court document. And according to that document, at no time did she say that she was in Two Rivers, Wisconsin between February 12th and February 20th or had any face-to-face contact with Elijah. That is until later. She told authorities that she wanted her boyfriend to teach her little boy by example on how to be a man, again at 3 years old. And apparently this wasn't the first time that Elijah went to visit Jesse alone. The first time, she said, was in January of 2024. And later in that conversation, she admitted to being in Two Rivers on February 16th and said that she arrived late at night, and when she arrived, she saw her son on the couch, but said that he was tired. And then she allegedly left the next day on February 17th, which would be 3 days before his reported disappearance. She was also confronted about being in Two Rivers on February 14th, and she did admit that she was, but said that she was there for just a short time and went home, which is 2.5 hours away. So we have February 12th when she brought Elijah there, back on the 14th, and there on again at the 17th, yet initially she said she wasn't there since the 12th. So the question is, why lie, right? Why lie? Now, when Jesse talked to the authorities, he initially stated that Elijah was in fact afraid of him, but then changed his wording to, "He respects me." And the reason he said Elijah was there with him was a punishment for bad behavior and to teach him to be good there and also at home, and tried to make him understand that going home is like a privilege for him. And this is where it goes from bad to worse. He makes this little boy stand from 1 to 3 hours at a time, and while he's doing that, he has to pray or say, "I'm sorry, Mommy." And the majority of time that he's in Jesse's care, if you can call it that, he's in timeout and is meant to be a form of boot camp, according to Jesse. But yet, Jesse Vang couldn't elaborate or identify the specific bad behaviors that warranted these timeouts, only that it occurred. Also, if Elijah tried to sit down on these long bouts of standing, he was asked, "You want cold water?" But Jesse had a rebuttal to this form of punishment, saying he's fine. It's not like his knees are shaking and about to fall over, you know. As for the diaper changes, he said he changed him at least once a day. A kid goes to the bathroom a lot more than that, especially if he's eating and drinking all day, which is what is required to keep a child healthy and fed. And they are always having to go to the bathroom. Wouldn't you agree? And side note, let's talk about normal timeouts for a child that age for a moment. A normal rule of thumb, and I'm sure parents and caregivers can attest to this, is to do 1 minute for the age of the child. So it's 3 whole minutes, not hours, for a 3-year-old. Now, on the same day On February 20th at 1:37 p.m., police issue an appeal for help in finding Elijah, while an Amber Alert also goes out to the local community. And by 5 p.m., the community was asked to search buildings, vehicles, and other potential hiding spots thoroughly where Elijah could have been hidden or trapped, while law enforcement used drones and search dogs in their search. And later that evening, Jesse was taken into custody on suspicion of child neglect. And the next day on February 21st, Elijah's mom, Katrina, is then arrested on suspicion of being party to a crime, child neglect. She also is charged with 2 counts of obstructing an officer. And 2 days after that, on February 23rd, 3 days after Elijah was reported missing, the search efforts continue across 2 rivers and Elijah's hometown of Wisconsin Dells. And Elijah's mom, Katrina, and her boyfriend, Jesse, appear in court. Now, in terms of fines, for neglecting a child is a Class 1 felony, and if convicted, could be fined no more than $10,000 or imprisoned not more than 3 years or 6 months, or both. And obstructing an officer is a Class A misdemeanor, and if convicted, can be fined not more than $10,000 or imprisoned not more than 9 months, or both. And Katrina is held on a $15,000 cash bond, and Jesse is held on a $20,000 cash bond. And he was said to have recently served 6 years in prison for the distribution of meth, and prosecutors believe that he is the responsible one for Elijah's disappearance. Now, on February 26th, the Two Rivers Police Department confirms that they are conducting a search at a nearby landfill site as part of the ongoing investigation. And Katrina and Jesse also that day attend another court session. That's where the mother faced the 2 additional charges of obstruction. February 27th, a week goes by and still no sign of little Elijah. Police state that they're still hopeful of bringing him home safely, and the FBI announced and offers a $15,000 reward for information. And Elijah's grandmother cries as she pleads for help in finding him. Now, where they've searched so far, authorities have been working around the clock to find Elijah. The search has included all local waterways, landfills, and quarries, and canvassing of both rural and urban neighborhoods. They've also followed up on leads from Elijah and Katrina's hometown in Wisconsin Dells. And law enforcement's search efforts have expanded significantly, utilizing a variety of resources, including drones, helicopters, and canines, with a focus on waterways, particularly the West Twin River and East Twin River. Search teams from Wings of Hope and North Star Rescue have joined forces, establishing a search headquarters at McGee Elementary School. The Vue family, alongside law enforcement, has scoured wooded areas near the Indian Creek Dog Park, while investigators delved into a landfill, and though the details on its relevance remain undisclosed. And in court, Elijah's family read a statement about why Katrina should not get cash bail, and a family member said, "They are the last 2 to have seen our baby Elijah, and at this moment are the prime suspects. So until we find the truth as to the whereabouts of Elijah, we would like to make sure these 2 are readily available for questioning." Now, they held a press conference, and there was a family's plea for help. Elijah's grandmother spoke at that press conference, tearfully begging for continued search efforts, and urged search and rescue teams not to give up on finding Elijah. Now, if you have any information, the state tip line number is 1-844-267-6648. Manitowoc County Crime Stoppers is offering $1,000 reward for information. And Katrina and Jesse both have preliminary hearings set for March 7th. Now, what I wonder is, was it actually February 20th that Elijah was missing? If you know extra information that I didn't cover in this video, let me know below. And why did his mother not tell the truth of where she was until later? More importantly, why is anyone punishing a 3-year-old and sending them off to learn how to be a man, or to be punished like that? What are your thoughts on this case? Let me know below. Where the heck is little Elijah Vue? For more videos on people who are still missing, click right here. And for more videos on this case, it will be right here. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there.